Welcome to Home Dad Chat, brought to you by the National At Home Dad Network. My name is Brock,
My name is Danny.
and we are here to talk about life as stay at home dads. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
No, I don't want much. I even love handmade crafts made of macaroni. Come on now, you should know me. Times I might eat too much. Don't worry about my weight, got the dad bod rocking on me. Sketches on my feet, cargo shorts look good on me. I'm a dad, that's what I do.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. Hope you've had a great week. Welcome to season 6 of Home Dad Chat. Woo! There it is.
That's all I got. Still
That's
looking
all.
to get in the soundboard. And every time I look at it, I get distracted and go down an Amazon rabbit hole of
Oh.
podcasting gear. And an hour and a half later, I'm like, why am I here? What was I doing?
It's so bad this time of year too, because it's Amazon. Ooh, what can I find on here? What kind of deals? Especially right now when you
Right.
got like Black Friday stuff's about to start popping,
Crazy. Yeah.
all of that fun stuff. So yeah, I get it. I get it. It's okay. It's shop therapy, man.
Yep.
I get retail therapy. Is that what they call it? I think something like that.
Sure. Yep. Retail therapy.
Yeah. But yeah, man, season 6, we I don't know, man. I'm excited to be honest. This is the 6th year, start of the 6th year of this podcast. 30th anniversary of Home Dad Con coming up.
Yeah.
For 2026. There's a lot of big things on the horizon. So it's gonna be exciting. I think that we'll have some great new guests of just talking about fun topics, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
Yeah.
Perusing around TikTok is always interesting. I love, and we talk about just the things that we come across sometimes on TikTok and Instagram Reels and things like that. I recently came across what I find to be something very poignant for this time of year and dealing with comments from family, but also it comes from strangers too. I'm going to play you a clip, okay? Now, this is Howie Mandel sitting down with comedian Bill Burr. I guess you could call Howie Mandel a comedian too, but most people don't know him for comedy anymore because that was all in his past. So,
Mhm.
but comedian Bill Burr, and they sit down, and Bill, man, I love him. He's not afraid to just give it to you straight, like
Right.
straight up, big silver spoon in the mouth. Boom, here, just take it. And if I break your teeth as it goes in, that's on you. So, but listen to this clip here and we'll see what you think of this. Okay, here we go.
Get ready, because you got a daughter too. Wait till she's a teenager. Wait till the hell.
Everybody who fails as a father says that to me.
Ready, 'cause you got-
That was Howie Mandel and Bill Burr.
Yeah, buddy. Oh,
Yeah.
wait until they become a teenager. Every father who's ever said to them he's failed.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you're gonna come at it with something, it's
I
polite
am-
but strong.
I am not Bill Burr, and I will not tell someone else they failed as a father. I don't think that I have succeeded in a lot of ways and been very fortunate in a lot of ways and have failed. And I think I'm not a failure as a father because I think that's hilarious that I wouldn't say that to you or anyone else. If your teenager is being a butthead and you're not able to deal with it, that's a different thing. But setting up the foundation of fatherhood and trust and family, building up to a teenager, and then understanding what a teenager needs. And they're basically 3-year-olds again. I mean, I don't mean that demeaning in a way, but they're in that confrontational, I want to go be something
Sure,
else. Why are you
yeah.
here? I don't know. I kind of agree with him. I mean, I definitely agree with him. All right. But I don't think I would say that personally. If, I don't want anybody to think I think they're failing as a dad.
No, but I mean, I think
But
it's along those lines.
it's a
If you're
good
gonna step,
point.
yeah, if you're gonna step up and say something like that, and it's somebody who's come to the realization of, I am not about to let anybody speak into my life and speak over me something that's not true. Like, I'm not gonna agree with it. And I'm gonna put you in your place a little bit and make you think about, should you be saying this to somebody
Right.
that you are not in a
Well,
close
because
relationship with?
it's a trope, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's even people that have not had kids say things like that. Or people that haven't had kids or whose kids are children or babies or whatever. They're, I got an 8 and a 7-year-old. Yeah. And I bet when they're teenagers, you don't know that. So having a bit of experience in it, I don't know if Bill Burr has kids. If he has teenagers, grown kids, I would think he would have grown
Yeah,
kids.
he does.
I think he's older than me.
Because he
I don't
was
know.
in the longer version of that, he's talking about his daughter getting ready to become a teenager is what it
Becoming
is.
a teen. Okay.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah.
talking about just how she is and things like that. And I think he's talking about like just how nice of a relationship they have is what I understood it to be. And then he's like basically telling him like, well, she's gonna turn into this way.
She's going to be a monster. And
Yeah.
I hate that it's daughters because, and I think Bill Burr is correct in this because people talk about, they get so, the hormones starting, they get so emotional and I don't know what to do with it. And the answer is, I don't know what to do with it. I don't know how to deal with it. I don't know how to handle someone who's having huge emotions that they can't control.
Yeah.
And my opinion, if you're a invested, father or parent, really, if you're really there and you're involved, you can see what your kids need and how their emotions happen. And granted, you're not ready for all of them, but at least you can look at it and go, oh, you need this right now.
Yeah.
And our job is to teach our kids to be emotionally self-aware and to be able to name their emotions and to be able to know what they need to process their emotions. And those things, one, we have to know how to do it ourselves, which most men were never taught. But a lot of men who aren't really involved don't get involved. They do back off of well, no, I don't know those hormones, that whole, she's starting her, say the words. Women have a menstrual cycle. It's a thing. It's not a mystery. Come on. It happens every single day, literally across the world. Everyone has a woman in their life or did at some point who likely had a menstrual cycle. Your mother, so being able to step through that barrier that I think men put up themselves because they didn't want to think about it. I can go kill and clean a deer, but I can't buy my wife tampons. What? Come on.
It's so true though that's not uncommon. That is definitely not an uncommon thing. I think too with this is this is sort of like the whole like stay in your lane or the Will Smith keep my wife's name out of your mouth kind of situation. I mean like it all kind of falls into that thing. It's like you don't get the right to speak into this. I feel like though too, especially with the holidays coming around, man. I mean, you get different relatives who they just say things, man, because it's we're family. Like I can freely say this stuff and not expect any sort of reaction or whatever. And it's like if you have too much of a reaction, they're emotional, blah blah blah. And so having that polite but very strong comeback, something as similar as I don't agree with that. Well, I know that Corey and I over the years, like my mom and dad have been bad at this. They've gotten much better at it, mainly because we've stuck a freaking like stake in the ground on it. But we basically have, and we've told them too. We're like, I'll call you out on this. If you try to speak something over me or my family or my kids or whatever it is, and it's a negative thing that you're just like, oh well, that's you were like that. Just wait till they start doing that. You better be ready. Like you have picked a fight and poked the bear and be as polite as I can about it, but you're going to know you done wrong.
Yeah. And Bill Burr is famous for that. He's based his career, I think, on being able to just tell people how he sees life and not concerned at all if it's offensive.
Sure.
Which is good and bad. I mean, it depends on how you, when you do it, it's like using adult words. You got to know when to apply it. You have to know where it works. You don't say it at church or whatever in front of grandma. You don't, shout out at somebody's wedding, curse words. You just, there's a place for it. And I think his type of honesty is missing in a lot of places. But I think too, I don't know how intelligent he is, but he at least thinks about what he's going to say a lot of times and has that opinion formulated already. He's not just shooting stuff out of his butt. Now, maybe he is, I don't know, but being able to talk to your family, like at Thanksgiving, which is coming up this week, and saying, I have a boundary. This is where I stop. that is an incredibly important thing that I think Bill Burr is probably a good example of. He's a
Oh
little
yeah,
more
definitely.
shock jock about it, but in exactly like you said, the only people that ever said that to me have failed as a father. And that's a very blunt thing, and it's a very much boot to the face kind of thing in a way, especially if you're living in a world where you think, well, it's not that I'm a bad parent, it's that my kids are teenagers. That's not the reality.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Teenagers are good.
and right now too, it's like you have more and more you're seeing parents talk about my kid's doing this and my kid's doing that, and I don't know what to do, or it's really annoying that my kid does this, and it's okay, I hear you. What are you doing to fix it? What are you doing to walk alongside them and see how you might be able to change that attitude or that action or whatever it is? Because like, you're the parent. And I think that's another thing that gets missed. You're not their best friend. You're the parent.
Mhm.
There'll be a time where you'll come into a place where you'll be more of that like friend, like coaching side of things, like the different like developments of being a parent of your
Mhm.
kids as they get older. Like it changes,
Yeah.
but like your kid can't just run amok and then go, oh, like I'm so frustrated because this. And it's like, you have the right to say no to things. You have the
Mhm.
right to say yes to things. Like you have the ability to take things away. And those are all different things that are like, I'm not trying to be mean to you, but like you're doing something that does not deserve you being able to do this, and it's disrespectful to me, and kind of working through all those things. And I see that so often in comments in different like parenting groups and stuff on Facebook, and I just
Yeah.
a lot of times like there's already been like 50 comments and someone's already said what I was going to say, but still at the same time I'm like, man, I hope they take some of this and actually put it into use, because otherwise, like, why did you ask the question? That's the other
Mhm.
part too, is like the people who come back and actually be like, thank you, like I did this and it worked or whatever. But those are so few and far between that you get those after comments of what's going on. So, but I
Right.
love that though about this time that we live in, that we have that ability. It's like there's a parent village, and you're going to have all kinds of people in a village. So some you're going
Mhm.
to get along with, and some you're not going to get along with. And some are going to have very outspoken opinions on things, and others are going to be able to not handle those as well as others. So there's
Yeah.
just all those different things going on, which brings me kind of to my next thing. So I came across this other video on TikTok, and I don't have it pulled up or anything, but basically the gist of it is it's a gentleman, he has a small child himself, and he's talking about the fact that he's come across these videos of these stay-at-home moms who are complaining about being home with their kids, and having to juggle them and do all these other different things. And it's part of a repost, and there's a different dad who is a stay-at-home dad or he's a work-from-home dad, who it points out in it, he's, listen, like, you you more than likely don't understand these moms' point of view on things. But on top of it too, like, if they're as frustrated with these things that are going on, 9 times out of 10, he said probably more than likely it's because the other parent isn't putting in enough at home when they're home, in the fashion of helping out with things, like not giving that stay-at-home parent a chance to take a breath, to feel like they're
Yeah. Yeah.
supported in that
Self
kind
care
of
is
way.
best care. Yeah.
Yeah, and because I mean, there are times where I'm just like, I'm so tired of doing dishes. I'm so tired of cleaning the house. Like, when do I get a break from this? When is it that I'm not just, you know, trying to do all of these things, and the person who gets to leave the house gets to just come home and either continue working or be like, I need time. It's like almost there's a flip sometimes, you think about the dads from the past, that sat down and was like, give me my dinner, give me my beer. I'm going to sit here and watch TV on my recliner and fall asleep kind of thing.
Mhm.
But now, you got people that can go online and call that out. But at the same time, too, it is that balance. And so if someone doesn't understand too, like, there's a place to complain about it, part of it is so that other people who are doing the exact same thing understand that they're not alone, which I think
Mhm.
is something that this community does in the fashion of our online stuff that's, like the chats and things like that we have. But there's support involved in that. And so for somebody outside of that realm to see that and just pull the curtains open and be like, stop complaining. It's not that hard. It's like you're not in their situation. Shut up.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say too, I have had a lot of support and at a lot of times during my career as an at-home dad, and I have had other times when I didn't have the support I needed at all. And again, it comes down to understanding, setting boundaries, and getting to that place. But I can't, in from my experience, of course, it's different because I had multiple kids, but I don't think I could ever fault someone for saying, I'm tired of being around my kids.
Right?
I mean, I just and all the support in the world, but the again, parenting is relentless. It never stops. I mean, I got a kid in college that I'm still parenting. Granted, it's more management, at this point.
Sure.
So I'm not
Yeah.
in there, I don't have to, well, I still make food for them, but I don't have to get them dressed. I don't have to pick out their clothes. I don't have to do all those million little things you have to do when they're younger. And it gets easier. So because of that, but even now, I get tired of my
Yeah.
family, and it's usually about once a year, as we talked about before. Home dad cons come in, and I'm like, okay, I need this. It needs to come sooner. But I really think that it's not a job you can understand if you haven't done it.
Yeah.
I
I would agree
mean,
with that. Yeah.
I got, I'm still angry and I keep anger for a long time on certain things. I'm still angry that at some point in the last 12 years or so or more, my wife said, I could do this job and I'd rock it. And she was mad and she says stuff she doesn't mean when she's mad. I don't because, ASD. So I say exactly what I mean. I don't care if I'm mad or not. Not necessarily a great thing, but I still hear that and I still think about it and it still bothers me because I think you don't understand. You don't understand what happens every day in this house to get it looking like it is or what it's supposed to look like or anything else like that. You know, it's it's something you have to experience. And I'm not saying that other jobs aren't difficult. I'm not saying that, the person that's not the primary caregiver or the person that's not doing all that cognitive labor is not busting butt too. And my wife, absolutely, hands down, we could not be here without her, period.
Yeah.
That's just hands down. However, if you haven't done it, I don't really credit you with knowing as well as you could if you did it, let's say.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're not going to walk up to your wife and be like, I could totally do your job. Like,
Uh-uh.
no way. But
No.
at the same time, too, I think, especially going to Home Dad Con, the amount of spouses who are like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're back. This, in my head, I thought like this would be a piece of cake and all these different things happened. And I just, I did what I could. Sorry the dishes aren't done. Sorry the house didn't get cleaned up the way that I had planned on it or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of the stuff that I've come home to. And it's okay. The kids are still alive. Did you have fun? Did you get to do anything fun with them while I was gone? Yeah. Okay. Awesome. That's what I want. That, make some memories and the other stuff will fall into play in the way it is, it's, we're gone for a few days there. I'm there the whole time kind of thing, it's all good. We'll make it work. So yeah, I think that's definitely the thing. And to like that comment of, I could do this, I could rock this. Like for me, I would be like, great, I'm gonna take off
Yeah.
for a couple of days.
And
Let's
it's
see how it
not
goes.
even doing it for a couple days because a couple days still I could probably no, I can't fake my way through my wife's job for a couple days. That's stupid. But
No.
there are a
Nor
lot
I,
of things I
nor
could
I.
do for a couple days, right? There's a lot of things I could do for a couple days because I know I only have to get through this next 72 hours. And I mean, as far as, child rearing, if you take any 72-hour window and they're not sick, they're not in the hospital, nothing like that, just a normal week, what's the worst thing that could happen? the house is filthy and the kids are filthy, but they all ate, even though it was just Cheerios and frozen fruit,
And
whatever,
marshmallows and
you know.
M&Ms that they found.
Yes. Whatever they scrounged from under their bed or inside the car seat. Yeah. But you
Or
can
the
do it
couch.
for a brief time, but it's getting into the point where you can call yourself an at-home parent.
Yeah.
That to me, that takes months, really. I mean, it's a commitment that you've got to, it's like, unlike a lot of jobs, you have to really do it to experience it, like I said earlier, and you have to do it for a little while. But I think I would agree with Bill Burr again.
Yeah.
I think he's got it right. I look forward to what happens with him and his child when they become a teenager. I'm not saying I'm looking for him to fail. I don't, what is it, Schadenfreude, the German word of you like to watch someone else suffer kind of thing,
Mhm.
because of their own decisions. You know, you decided you want to do this and it's going to suck for you, and I'm going to watch you while it sucks. That kind of, I don't really like doing that. So I'm not saying, oh, yeah, Bill, wait till you have kids. Not at all. What I'm saying is, I'm hopeful that he does keep this amazing, incredible relationship with his child all through teenage years, all through into parenting, you know, them parenting their own kids, or they're starting their own families, or wherever they go, whatever they do, and always keeping that. Because we do find regularly that there are fathers who they lose touch with their teenager,
Yeah.
losing touch with your children if they are, you know, boys and they don't have as many hormones, supposedly. The reality of it is, a lot of times we shut them down where we would not shut down a girl. We look at a boy and we still do that strong silent thing, and we still do that, oh yeah, you can have emotions if your dog dies or your mom dies. Other than that, you need to, God, I hate this, but you need to man up. Hate that phrase so much. I've met so many women who could kick ass, and I'm like, y'all need to meet these people, because you're definitely dealing with women you choose that are weak or something, because that's not my experience, you know. But having that change in how we look at our kids, being able to look at our kids, doesn't matter if they have certain anatomy or not. It doesn't matter if they are choosing to be boy or girl, but just treat them like children and understand that they all have this emotional change. They all have this hormonal change, and losing out on that time. Again, you hear about it all the time. If you look at on our page, there's the national or international stay-at-home dads Facebook page, which, you know, is not associated with us, but still is a place of resource. And then Stay at Home Dad It. And you find dads who are struggling with their teenager. And I mean, my oldest is as big as my wife, and my second is bigger than me, and my third is probably going to be bigger than me, and the fourth we'll see, right? So at a point, if my 16-year-old was aggressive and angry and got physical with me, he's 16. He's never really felt pain. He's never been punched, you know, and I've been knocked down a few times. I'm not a fighter. I'm not saying that, but I felt it more than he has. And I think if we got into a physical altercation, it would come down to that. But he's as strong as I am, and he's bigger than me. And if you look at what that means, if you're not structuring your life up to that, of building that trust that you love them, then you do come up with physical altercations. Even people that, you know, are having their kids put hands on them or throw things at them or break things in the house, you know. And this is a terrible situation, but it's not something that only happens to like the periphery of, you know, it's only because you're a horrible parent that this happens to you. This happens to people that are doing their very best.
Yeah.
And they didn't build that foundation as well as they thought, or they didn't know how, which is a big part of it. And
I mean,
you
yeah,
get a
there's
teenager that just tells you to
yeah.
F off. You know, my 16-year-old told me to place his testicles in my mouth, let's say. And I mean,
Okay.
I swallowed that, and
That probably wasn't the
all
right
that
word to use.
emotion. I'm gonna choke. I did. Yeah, you know, it's not right.
Oh my
Let's
gosh, he's still going
leave
down
it
the
in
road.
because it's great. Leave it in because it's a great pun. But I took that anger and everything, and that you're disrespecting me. How do you? And I just pushed it back down. I'll
Yeah.
process it later. And I said, we don't talk to each other that way.
Nah.
I would not talk to you like that, and you're not allowed to talk to me like that. That is, you can choose different ways to say it. And if you continue to talk to me like that, as usual, there will be consequences to it. But we just don't do that.
Yeah, I think that comes
know?
down to just sort of what are they experiencing outside of the four walls of your house? Who are they getting influence from? Because
Or
if
inside
it's
online.
it could be that too. Yeah, could be that, but that's still I consider that almost outside of the four walls type of deal in a way. But yeah, that makes sense. I mean, being piped in. Yeah,
Gotcha.
that is definitely, a lot of times like I think it too. Like, you hear sometimes parents are like, "Where did you hear that? Like, where's that from?" We never said that. And it's okay. Well, then you need to evaluate like what else are they getting? Like,
Right.
where are they getting, information, influencing that kind of thing from?
Yeah.
Because if you didn't teach it to them, it's not something that's a part of it, then there's an outside source that's feeding into your child that,
Mhm.
you got to figure out what that is. So we ask the kids that all the time when they say things. That was out of character. Where'd that come from? You're not in trouble for it. We just want to understand so that we can better, maybe have a conversation about this and go from there. So yeah, definitely. Well, I think too, you were talking about the whole like, well, wait till you have kids kind of thing. You get maybe coming of new parents who are like, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. We're going to make our own baby food and we're going to, like all these things that you're like grand ideas. And I am basically like, that's great. Love that you have that as a idea for a plan to work. And I hope it does, or I hope what you're wanting it to do, it comes out. But
Yeah.
also be ready to be flexible and not feel bad if you have to change your plan for how you're going about giving your kid care. Because there's nothing worse than feeling shame for, I had this idea that this is how it would be, and it completely changed. And am I going to be able to overcome that immediate left turn, that curveball? Is it going to completely disable me from being able to function, or is it something where it's like, we don't, it's, yes, we had this plan, but we can go do something else. And there are so many dads, I think, that are in that position. There's so many parents that are in that position where, I had these ideas for my kids that they would be like this or that they would do that. And things change, things happen, and you got to be able to move with that. But I think for someone to speak over somebody and say something, it is so out of it's so out of the lane. Like it's just one of those things like the whole idea of stay in your lane. Like you don't need to speak this. Like we should all be trying to, especially in parents, like speak positively over there. Like sometimes it might take a little bit more to think about what that looks like because we are sometimes so quick to like just have a comment because that's what pops into our head. But is that what you would want to hear? Because if it's not what you would want to hear, why would you say it to somebody else? And that's the other thing that a lot of times people don't take the time to just stop and think about how they're delivering their comment to people. So, but yeah, I definitely, yeah, just the way that you were talking about supporting the kids as they, get older and change and different things like that. I mean, there are kids that they're like, for instance, like Corey grew up as a tomboy basically. But it's one of those deals where it was like she liked doing guy things, she liked doing girl things. And her family was just like, hey, like you can do both of those things and just figure it out as you get older kind of thing. And I think that's a very important like piece to it as well. Hey, let your kids, see that there are these different things and they're not gender specific. And so you don't have to fall on one or the other to like in that. So I think that's another side to it as well. And so that's my daughter's like that. She doesn't always like to wear a dress, like you say, hey, I don't want to wear a dress. Like today, for instance, she's doing Revolutionary War stuff and she dressed up as one of the Revolutionary War influential women in the history books. And she was super excited about it, you know. But at the same time, too, I know that as soon as she gets home, that dress is coming off and she's putting on pants. Or
Mhm.
because she's got leggings underneath. So, I mean, that dress is going to come off. She's like, oh, okay, good. That's done. I'm going to move on to the next thing. Great. You participated, you did it. It was awesome. And
Mhm.
she didn't complain about it, that type of deal. And so I think that's just one of those deals. Like, all right, let them kind of figure that out from that standpoint and be a guiding situation to it. So don't put too much of your adult thinking into, you know, what is going on. I think it's the same thing with, little kids and baby dolls, like little boys and baby dolls type of thing. It's great. Let them nurture that side of things. There's nothing wrong with that. And just basically going about life where, there are going to be good caregivers, that are males that way, like
Mhm.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Men can take care of people just like anyone else.
right. Exactly. So, yeah, man. I mean, there's just a lot going on with fatherhood in that way. But I think the main thing I really wanted to kind of make a point to that in this episode was just the fact that as you're going into the holidays, you're gonna hear comments from people, especially the one of, "Oh, I wish I could do that, just stay at home with the kids." Be like, "Oh, really?" Like how do you go about taking that on? 'Cause you get mad about it, you can have some snarky thing about it. My thing is always just like, "Hey, do you get a do you get a break when you're at work?" Because I don't really get that too
Yeah.
much.
What time do you go home from work? Yeah, I never
Yeah.
do. I
Yep.
never go home from work. It's here. It's all the time.
All the
Uh,
time. Yep.
it's
So,
really funny too because Marnie will come home from work and I mean, she's so stressed at work. She's got so much that she's doing. There's a lot going on. And so she comes home and she just wants to relax and veg out and eat something like, I made spicy ramen soup yesterday and the day before. I have a sick kid. And she gets in and she gets a bowl and sits, and you can just feel it just dropping off of her, all the stress and everything else. And that's great. And she can't understand why I can't do that. And I keep telling her, you're currently sitting in my office. Think of it that way.
yeah.
You are in my office. This whole house, in some way or another, is my office. All of this is work for me. This isn't a vacation. It's not relaxation time. It's very difficult
Yeah.
because I have five other people, sometimes, I guess four now, who need things, who can't find things, who don't know how to look in the pantry. It's in the pantry. I can't find them.
Yeah.
I go
We're
in
out of
there
Gatorade.
and I
Did you
open
get
the
a quick
door
to
and
the
it's
storage unit?
right there.
Yeah.
Oh, and I've done it. And I think all parents have done it, hundreds of times where you're like, it's right.
Yep.
Did you move the milk and look behind it and see if that's where the cheese was? No, you
Yep.
just looked and said, there's a jug of milk. What? Yeah. But that understanding that this is my workplace, and I do find joy in it. And I'm looking to find more and more joy as we go along. I want to put in a greenhouse and get a garden and a hot tub and, all of those things that we're not going to do probably any of those because they're expensive, but at least a garden, put in some raised beds and, keep the rabbits and deer out of it and all that stuff. And I will find joy in that,
Yeah.
but it's still my office. And I think that has been one of the things that I've really wanted to impress on my wife because it's her relaxation place. It's her home. It's her cozy nest. Cool. That's what I want it to be. It's a little less so mine because
Yeah.
every noise, if I go lay down or I go sit on the couch, we watch a movie and there's a noise downstairs. Am I going to have to go? What happened?
What
Am I
just
going to have to go
happened?
look?
What's going
Yeah.
on? Yeah,
What's broken?
exactly.
What's smashed? What, who
Right.
did what? Yeah.
Yep. Well, as we come into the holidays, one, I hope everybody has a great time spending time with their families and safe travels wherever you're going as well. And at the same time, too, you know, hold your ground when you need to and retreat when you have to. And know that there's nothing wrong with taking care of your immediate family and especially your mental health as well. And that's the big thing too. Use your resources that we have here to be able to reach out and voice your frustrations with the rest of the dads. That way there's support there, but definitely have a good time. And I hope that's the case. But along with that, like, I hope that you see that some people are not going to see our role the way that we see it, and how you represent yourself goes a long way, and being able to change the minds of those who are having a hard time seeing that. So that's all I got for this week, man. That was
Me too. I got a
Awesome.
sick kid that's bugged me 3 times so far. So
Oh, well,
I
there,
don't have any. I can't even keep my head on track. I'm like, what are we talking about? Dang it!
and there's
Child?
reality
Yes.
right there for you. All right. Well, hey, thanks for listening to this episode. Please can share it and pass it around that we're out here doing a season 6. You can find us on all the different platforms. iHeartRadio could really use some love right now for us. We're on there, and I think that it's one of our smaller viewerships. So if you're looking for a new place to listen to the podcast, check out iHeartRadio. And with that, we'll talk to you all next week.
Good night, everybody.
I'm a dad, that's what I do.